12 giant and muscular superwomen that rocked the comic book industry. When it comes to the list of strongest superheroes, names like Hulk, Superman, and Thor are at the top. Characters like these possess brute strength and have completely jacked bodies fitting to their massive power levels. Female comic book characters possessing superpowers are many in the list of magicians, occultists, and sorceresses who possess world-ending capabilities, as we had just seen Wanda going crazy in the Multiverse of Madness. But there are a few beholding brute strength and stamina. In today's video, we will be talking about female superheroes and villains that have shown enormous physical strength and stamina. These characters have enormous physical strength, impossible for any living human being, and are as equally muscular and ripped as the male superheroes. So without further delay, let us dive into today's video, where we will explore 12 giant and muscular superwomen that rocked the comic book industry. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. 1. Big Barda. Big Barda gave birth to a daughter named Barda some 250 years ago in the horrific world of Apocalypse. Barda's child was kidnapped at an early age and brought to Darkseid's army to be groomed as a fighter. Barda was brought to Granny Goodness's home for orphaned youth when she was very young, where she matured into a beautiful, powerful young woman schooled in fighting and military strategies. After being impressed by her fighting skill, Granny Goodness chose Barda as the head of Darkseid's guard and most fearsome enforcers, the female Furies. Big Barda debuted in Mr. Miracle in 1971 after being created by writer-artist Jack Kirby. Being Mr. Miracle's major love interest, she was created to be one of the most beautiful and powerful ladies in his pantheon of new gods. Barda was simply larger, stronger, and more physically intimidating than her own superhero husband, and even acted as his defender, making the pair one of the first examples of role reversal in popular comics. Barda's visual characteristics were based on actress Lainey Kazan, who had recently appeared in Playboy magazine, and her attitude was based on Kirby's own wife, Roz. Big Barda possesses several strong talents and abilities as a member of the New Gods. She is one of the strongest women in the DC universe, capable of lifting or carrying hundreds of tons with ease under normal circumstances. This places her on the same level as many of DCU's main characters. She is also a master of most fighting types, with a skill level that allows her to draw with Wonder Woman in a one-on-one battle. Barda's toughness makes her almost indestructible and impervious to standard earthly weapons, as a member of the eternal race known as the New Gods, having physically ceased aging when she was in her prime. Barda has the power to call arrow discs, which allow her to fly, and she wears striking blue apocalyptian armor in battle, which increases her endurance even more. The Mega Rod, a high-tech gadget that unleashes incredibly powerful concussive blasts, is her primary weapon. The Mega Rod allows Barda to transfer herself or others to any chosen place while also allowing her to modify gravitational fields. As Despotellis reveals to Sinestro when attempting to infect Highfather, her new god nature provides her with illness immunity. 2. Giganta. Giganta initially appeared in Wonder Woman as a nemesis of Wonder Woman in the Golden Age. In the novel, Professor Zool, a wicked scientist, intentionally develops an ape named Giganta into a spiteful red-haired strong woman. Wonder Woman eventually subdues Giganta and captures Zool, transporting him to Transformation Island for recuperation. She becomes a part of the criminal team Villainy Inc. when she joins a rebellion of convicts trapped on the island in the issue. Giganta isn't featured in the comics again until 1966. In Wonder Woman, where her backstory is reworked to include Dr. Psycho, another member of Wonder Woman's Rogues Gallery. This performance also marked the debut of a short-lived makeover, which had her sporting waist-length blonde hair and greater physical stature. The fact that this Giganta belonged to Earth-40 was later disclosed, essentially eliminating her from Earth-1 timeline. Dr. Dora Zool is Giganta in the current DC universe. Dora Zool catches a comatose Wonder Woman and keeps her at a secret research facility in the current universe for the first time in 1997's Wonder Woman. Dora Zool aims to utilize an untested machine to implant her life essence into Wonder Woman's body, since she suffers from a severe blood ailment. Dora Zool appears to die midway through the experiment after being interrupted by Cassandra Sandsmark. Dora Zool's essence was stored in the transference machine's buffer module, which subsequently transferred her mind into one of the lab's test animals, a gorilla named Giganta, according to her aide Branson. Giganta has the potential to grow from 6'6" to several hundred feet in length. These abilities appear to have been given to her magically, as she would not have been able to grow to that size if she had been given them by science. Giganta's strength is larger than her physical size, thus it's safe to assume she exercises out. Her strength is greater than that of a typical woman, but it is not supernatural until she begins to grow. She can grow to be stronger than Wonder Woman, and she has nearly crushed her on several occasions. Giganta is also a smart scientist who can now maintain her full intelligence regardless of her size, from normal to utmost. She already carries a lot of weight. An average human woman would weigh around 50 tons, or 100,000 pounds if blown up to 50 feet tall. This is the same as 40 mid-sized automobiles or 100-gram pianos. When her height is increased to 100 feet, her weight is increased to 400 tons. That's the equivalent of 550 cows, or 2.5 two-bedroom residences. The greatest height of Giganta is recorded as several hundred feet, while one source estimates it to be closer to 250 feet, or around the height of a 25-story structure. She would weigh nearly 6,000 tons at that height. This equates to about 75 space shuttles. Alternatively, 2,000 giraffes. Alternatively to that, 200 trillion poppy seeds. Giganta initially appeared in the 1970s cartoon series Super Friends as a formidable member of the Legion of Doom. She subsequently appears in the short episodes Revenge of Doom and Two Gleeks Are Deadlier Than One in the Super Friends series.
You think you're special? You're animal control, honey. Just taxing around monsters. You used to have a life.
3. Titania. The next character is from creators Jim Shooter and Mike Zeck for the Marvel Universe and goes by the name of Mary McFerrin. She debuted in Marvel Superhero Secret Wars issue 3. She was born prematurely in a Denver suburb in the United States. As the youngest of her siblings, Mary was sometimes forgotten and would lose herself in fantasy literature. Mary developed very little throughout the years, remaining tiny and bony in comparison to her friends, earning her the moniker Skeeter from a popular girl at school named Vanessa Ashwood. Marcia Rosenberg, who was also disliked, was her sole true friend. Mary had to accept menial jobs to live, after being taunted and humiliated by the rich Vanessa and her social group from childhood. Mary became resentful of her difficult existence and dreamed about an implausible turn of events in her favor, such as winning the lottery. These dreams quickly shifted to attaining abilities so she could be revered, as well as exacting vengeance on her tormentors. Rosenberg commented that the second Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter's hair was the same hue as Mary's when she first appeared in Denver. Mary lied to a friend about being Spider-Woman, and when Rosenberg spread the idea, Mary's popularity skyrocketed, and she was invited to a party by Vanessa and her posse. However, their Denver suburb was taken off Earth and utilized by the extraterrestrial Beyonder to build the artificial planet Battleworld in the middle of the celebration. Dr. Doom resurrected them using powerful alien technology discovered in the appropriately titled Doom Base, which was fueled by massive energy from an extraterrestrial storm outside. The newly named Titania was proud and confident, possibly to extremes, while Mary McFerrin had been meek and frightened. She gained close with Absorbing Man following her run-in with Spider-Man, who tried to rough her up, and she was persuaded out of going any further by Creel when she vowed to get revenge on Vanessa for the years of abuse. Titania possesses multiple superhuman physical characteristics as a result of Dr. Doom's mutagenic modification technique. Titania possesses immense superhuman strength, which she has developed over the time via rigorous weight training. Titania's original lifting capacity was around 85 tons, but she can currently lift around 100 tons. Titania's enhanced musculature produces far less fatigue poisons than normal human muscle. She may push herself at maximum capacity for around 24 hours before tiredness poisons build up in her system and damage her. Titania's physique is impervious to physical harm. She is immune to large caliber bullets, falls from vast heights, immense impact force, and degrees as high as 1500 degrees Celsius, and as low as -120 degrees Celsius. Titania has been trained by the champion of the universe and is a powerful hand-to-hand warrior. She has a lot of expertise with street combat tactics that allow her to fully utilize her immense power.
This'll shut you up for a while, you crazy witch! You're the one who's crazy!
4. SheHulk. SheHulk is a female version of Bruce Banner. It made her first appearance in Savage She-Hulk issue 1, published in November 1979. Her name was Jennifer Walters in the comics, and was Banner's cousin and a brilliant lawyer. Her powers originate from the same source as Bruce Banner's, which is gamma radiation. After being critically hurt by a gangster, Jennifer was saved by Bruce's blood transfusion, and his gamma irradiated blood transformed Jennifer into the She-Hulk, launching her adventure career. Jen wasn't as powerful as her cousin. She retained her intelligence, quickly learning to control her alterations, and even accepting her green form. Jen battled for justice in court and on the streets throughout the years, forming strong rivalries and friendships along the way, and establishing herself as a renowned leader. She worked for the district attorney and was a part of several crime-fighting teams, including the world-famous Avengers and Fantastic Four. During a battle with Thanos, She-Hulk was hit in the chest by a rocket and was seriously injured by the Mad Titan, necessitating quick medical attention. Her metamorphosis was out of control once she recovered, but she was able to overcome these darker moments and reclaim her identity as the inspiring and ever-loving sensational She-Hulk. Sheriff Morris Walters and Elaine Banner Walters raised Jennifer Sue Walters in Los Angeles, California. Jen, who was also Bruce Banner's cousin, would spend countless hours at the public library with him, reading books and even concealing at closing time to stay the night there, in order to assist Bruce in escaping his father's violence. Jen aspired to be a dancer when she was little, something her father did not approve of. Jen's mother was killed by a vehicle while going with several friends to witness one of her performances, an act that further separated her from her father. Jen was accepted to Harvard University and UCLA, where she received her law degree summa cum laude. Created by Stan Lee and John Buscemi, Jen Walters was endowed with the power of the one below all, and became a gamma mutant with abilities comparable to her cousin Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, as a consequence of a blood transfusion from Bruce Banner. Jennifer Walters may transform into a female version of the Hulk by changing her physical shape. Walter's skin and hair becomes green as she grows several inches and adds a significant amount of physical bulk to her regular She-Hulk form. Jennifer normally keeps her entire brain and personality in her Hulk form, or rather certain Hulk incarnations, unlike her cousin the Hulk. This isn't true for all her incarnations, such as Savage Gray She-Hulk and Gray Hulk, or for all of the occasions her gamma ray levels were messed up. Jennifer Walters in her She-Hulk form boasts incredible super strength, capable of lifting over 100 tons. She-Hulk's leg muscles are powerful enough to allow her to leap a distance of at least 1,000 feet, and a height of at least 600 feet. She once leaped from downtown New York to Rikers Island, where Star Fox was being kept in a fit of wrath. She-Hulk has a high level of injury resistance in addition to her power. Her skin can endure extreme pressures, temperatures ranging from -190 degrees to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and direct impacts from field artillery cannon projectiles. She-Hulk's body is resistant to harm and suffering, and her highly efficient physiology protects her from most earthly ailments. Jen Walters, like her cousin, has the ability to absorb, manipulate, and project gamma radiation, having absorbed surplus gamma energy infused with vast quantities of magical power in order to activate her Hulk form. After being exposed to Esson the Searcher's cosmic energy, this skill was momentarily enhanced. She-Hulk can swap her physical traits and powers with the physical characteristics of powers of another being thanks to Ovoid's extraterrestrial training. Gamora taught She-Hulk numerous martial techniques of the galaxy, including how to attack an opponent's nerves and put them unconscious. We are all waiting for the new upcoming live-action version of the She-Hulk, which will be released soon. 5. Unum. Originating in the Marvel Universe with creators Peter David and Mahmoud Asrar, Unum made her first appearance in She-Hulk, Cosmic Collision Issue 1, published in December 2008. Enmity assembled various previous armies of defeated villains, including Dormammu. Unum's mission was to eliminate every hero in the universe, starting with female heroes. She returned to Earth after murdering dozens, but the Collector had captured many of the female heroes for their safety. She tracked them down to the Collector's planet and began fighting him until the other imprisoned heroines joined the fight. When She-Hulk eventually discovered that the entity Enmity was behind Unum, she told Unum that while all of her previous masters had exploited her, they had done so for a reason, but Enmity was only using her for her own amusement. Unum then turned on Enmity, killing the physical body she had stolen and destroyed herself. She possesses super strength and wields an energy beam firing axe. The words E Pluribus Unum seen on the United States seal may have inspired Unum's name. It relates to how many conceptions or objects may join together to make a single notion, and it means out of many, one. This is a good description of Unum, who is a single creature made up of numerous villains. 6. Cassandra Lang. Cassandra Lang had a congenital cardiac problem when she was a youngster. To save Cassie's life, her father, Scott Lang, stole Henry Pym's Ant-Man equipment and Pym particles, which he uses to liberate Dr. Sondheim from Cross Technological Enterprises, the only doctor who can fix Cassie's ailment. Cassie aspired to be a hero like her father as she grew older. She was able to meet the world's finest heroes regularly because of her father, Ant-Man. Cassie was introduced to the Fantastic Four's headquarters at Four Freedoms Plaza during Scott's work as an engineer for the team. Cassie formed a great bond with Christophe Bernard, a former ward of Dr. Doom, in the stunning surroundings she formerly called home. Cassie helped Christophe acclimate to life outside of Doom's castle during their time together at the Fantastic Four's guest house, and she formed a crush on him. When the Fantastic Four mysteriously disappeared and Scott was left jobless, he sought to work with the Heroes for Hire at Oracle Inc. Cassie had further adventures while working with the Heroes for Hire, accidentally triggering the super adaptoid and seeing horrific images of what was to come. The H4H quickly vanquished the adaptoid, and Cassie's involvement in these heinous events aided her father. and his friends in defeating the Master in a struggle for the destiny of Earth. Cassie joined the Avengers after her parents divorced. Cassie spent a lot of time in Avengers mansions with her father. She adored and revered her father, and she developed deep bonds with his co-workers. Cassie utilized this time, unbeknownst to everybody, to surreptitiously expose herself to PIM particles in the hopes of becoming a superhero like her father. When Cassie's mother Peggy remarried, she and her new husband Blake Burdick continued to hold grudges against superhuman heroes and expressed concerns about Cassie's safety. Peggy was successful in getting a court order limiting Scott's contact with Cassie to visitation rights. Cassie had a horrible experience at this period, being abducted and kept captive, with the danger of violence from a psychopath hovering over her head. Scott came just in time to save Cassie, and he nearly killed the insane guy who had kidnapped her from school. Jack of Hearts, Cassie's father's colleague, had trailed Scott closely behind, refusing to allow Scott to make a deadly error in front of her. Jack carried out Scott's vengeance at the expense of his own life. Created by Dave Michelini and John Byrne, Cassandra Lang made her first appearance in the Marvel Premiere issue 47, published in January 1979. Cassie was born a regular person with no superpowers, but she earned a few skills through deliberate repetitive contact with PIM particles. Cassie had the ability to shrink herself down to the size of an ant, about a 1/2 inch tall. Cassie also had the ability to grow enormous proportions, which necessitated a quick growth in body mass. This additional mass strengthens all of her biological structure, including her bones and muscles, allowing her to sustain greater weight, while also providing her with superhuman power and endurance. Cassie's talents were first unknown, but she was eventually discovered to be capable of growing to a height of roughly 250 feet. Her father, Giant Man, Wasp, Goliath, Yellow Jacket, Atlas, and the new Ant-Man all have comparable talents. 7. Garganta. Dr. Carol Heisler, who later becomes Garganta, is a female character from AC's comic book series FemForce. On January 12, 1919, she was born in Yuma, Arizona, and trained as a biochemist before working as a U.S. government research scientist on the V47 formula, which gave Miss Victory and her daughter their abilities. Carol grabbed the formula and used it to demolish the facility where she worked, and then went on a rampage since she couldn't control the energy within her. She grew to giant dimensions after being knocked unconscious by the second Miss Victory, and continued her rampage until she was halted by a combined strike that drained all the energy out of her. Carol grew to be a colossus, and went on a rampage after being forced to participate in an electrostimulation experiment. She escaped to the water this time and was shown a new capacity to adapt to her environment, transforming into a massive whale-like marine monster. Miss Victory was sent to murder her with a special pistol, but after Garganta telepathically informed her how tranquil she was, she faked Garganta's death. The Gamazons, a race of huge alien Amazon women, restored Garganta to human form, leaving her 50 feet tall and with the intellect of a docile marine creature. She was kidnapped along with numerous other characters, but she was rescued at the story's conclusion. Garganta was granted a special bikini and a special residence in a gigantic prefabricated structure at the FemForce HQ after the Gamazons were defeated, but she eventually obtained the power to expand and shrink at will via exercise. Eventually in the series, Garganta was influenced by a wealthy socialite, Stella Stargaze, who used her as a movie actress and later as a psychic healer. When she tried to cure a guy who had been involved in seal hunting, however, she became insane and began to grow in her dreams. The FemForce rescued her and took her to an isolated island to recover. Terra used her unproven growing talents to get out of the facility. Garganta has the ability to grow tall and has reached a height of roughly 200 feet. She was formerly trapped at a height of 50 feet, but has gained complete control of her abilities through practice. 8. Masada. Masada is a member of Team Youngblood and a Jewish superhero. She is an Israeli crime fighter with the ability to grow in size and transform into a giantess. Created by Rob Liefeld, she made her first appearance in Team Youngblood issue 1, published in 1993. Masada, aka Deborah Koningsberg, understands that the spirits of the Jewish warriors who perished at Masada, as well as all others who lost their lives for the sake of Judaism, are the source of her abilities. Masada, a disturbed young lady, is occasionally emotionally overpowered by the voices of the ghosts that reverberate within her. When she confronted former Youngblood member Sci-Fire, he attempted to get access to her consciousness, but the souls overwhelmed him and put him in a coma. Masada has the ability to change in size at will. Masada possesses extraordinary strength even at her regular size. She can effortlessly bend metal. 9. Red Giant. Insecure Chicago cop who went on to become a superhero, a young lady, Rita Mettermaid, could never have imagined what her life would become. That is the real life of a 50-foot woman whom she could never have predicted. Rita was a committed and industrious cadet with the Chicago Police Department sworn in on July 19, 1989. She rose fast through the ranks and was a valuable member of the police force for many years. However, later in her career, a well-known superhero known as the Savage Dragon would stroll into her precinct. She originally appeared when Dragus discovered Hortus imprisoned her parent cellar. She rose fast through the ranks of the Chicago Police Department, forming a connection with Dragon in the process. Rita also made acquaintances with William Johnson, a detective who secretly adored her. When the Dragon was inhabited by one of the wicked worms and assaulted his police colleagues, this fascination became apparent. Rita Mettermaid was about to be punched to death when William stepped in and pushed her away. This act of self-sacrifice was replicated during the Vicious Circle's attack on the police station, where Cyberface was to be murdered. Megatech launched a shot that would have killed Rita, but William deflected it to his side, suffering the blast. Their friendship got even stronger, despite the fact that they were never romantically involved. Rita Mettermaid finally went on a couple dates with Dragon, but their fears stopped them from staying together after they slept together. William Johnson was irritated because he seemed to have wasted his chance, but Dragon encouraged him to ask Rita out. The two met during the Martian invasion and have been together ever since. Because he had testified against his brother, Ralph Johnson's release from jail, where he had served a sentence for killing his parents, worried William Johnson. William Johnson attempted to save her but was shot, revealing that the dragon had been inside him since his apparent death at the hands of the Apter cadaver. Johnson's threat was ultimately put to rest when he kidnapped Rita and took her to the Liberheim embassy. Rita possesses the extraordinary power to alter her size at command. She can change the chemical structure of her body to expand to far bigger proportions now that she has control over her body. She has the potential to reach unfathomable heights. Rita had an astounding 6'4", even when she was simply a typical human physique. However, as the superhero Red Giant, she has the ability to grow taller than an average skyscraper, and sometimes much higher. As she develops, her strength and density rise in proportion, but her mental abilities deteriorate at the same time. She might be able to shrink, but she hasn't shown it yet. 10. Tara Fremont. Tara Fremont, a gorgeous naturalist, is the granddaughter of the 1940s heroine Rio Rita and a former member of FemForce, an all-female superhero squad. Her talents as a contemporary day hero are enhanced by her survival training and her paranormal capacity to grow to extraordinary heights. Tara Fremont, the gorgeous daughter of one of Florida's most powerful and rich men, T.C. Fremont, is the beneficiary of one of the world's most devious industrial empires. Tara would come to have the blinders taken off as she came of age, realizing the environmental horrors her family's firm would inflict as a result of being nurtured in the protecting arms of her social standing. Tara decided to devote her life to environmental activism, and she used her family's resources to prepare her for a life of activism, starting with her environmental science education. She was the idealist who organized protests to defend the environment after graduating from the academy, having championed endangered species all over the world and adapted to living in various jungles and other remote regions. Tara earned degrees in wildlife management and veterinary medicine and became a specialist in both animal preservation and marine biology. Tara utilized her family's great money to build an artificial island, Jungle Island, right off the coast of Florida as her home base. Tara had herself and a few other naturalists settle onto a jungle island after years of building to ensure the island was self-sustaining and as pollution-free as possible. Tara believed that she needed this island to construct a sanctuary for certain endangered fauna that she knew would perish in the outer world in a matter of days. Jungle Island has a reputation as an expert location in animal preservation as a result of her efforts. Tara was subsequently modified, giving her the power to grow to the size and strength of a giantess. She can then return to her original height at any time. She hasn't shown any signs of being able to reduce in size. Tara's powers were boosted on a distant planet in a FemForce issue, and she was able to grow several hundred feet with no effort. However, she was reduced to bare inches in height as a result of the procedure. Tara is a fantastic athlete who has spent years honing her acrobats and tumbling skills and follows a strict training program. She is also an expert in armed warfare, having learned the use of hunting knives and other sharp weapons like spears and other blades. Tara has also honed her combat skills in a variety of martial arts, allowing her to take on a variety of opponents in unarmored battles. She has also honed her skills in tracking games of all types through tropical woods, but her proficiency in urban environments was limited. Tara earned a number of academic degrees after graduating from Florida State University with degrees in veterinary medicine and wildlife management. She gained substantial skill in the domains of nature conservation by using her understanding of jungle life behavior and its many species. Tara appears to have remarkable empathy for most species, and most critters, whether domesticated or wild, are taken by her presence. After consuming the Garganta concoction, Tara got the paranormal power to increase her size to monstrous dimensions at command. She gained heightened strength and resilience proportional to her size and density as a result of this. Tara's maximum possible height is currently unknown. Nevertheless, any height greater than 50 feet weakens her body so quickly that she might pass out in a matter of minutes. She has been able to draw upon her growing powers at will after some training time. Tara's ability is different from Garganta's in that she can only sustain her enhanced size for a limited time, although she can grow considerably taller. 11. Mankiller. Created by Jim Mooney and Jerry Conway, Mankiller is a female character from the Marvel Universe whose name is Katrina. Katrina was a renowned skier who appeared to have a bright future ahead of her. Carl Lubbings, a competitor skier who wished to expose her apparent inadequacy to the guys in the competition, challenged her to a race. Carl chose to have accidental contact with her after failing to truly speed ahead of her, knocking her down and allowing him to continue alone. He was not going to lose against a woman in any case, but the accident, though, sent them both off track and into a ravine. In the fall, Carl was murdered, while Katrina was left alive but disabled. Katrina made her first appearance in Marvel Team-Up issue 8, published in April 1973. Mankiller possesses superhuman strength, allowing her to lift more than 50 tons as well as extraordinary durability, affording her resistance to physical hurt and damage. She may increase her stature by wearing a gauntlet that contains PEM particles. 12. Thundra. In another timeline, worldwide chemical and biological warfare erupted near the end of the 20th century, culminating in the sterilization of 95% of the world's female population. The fertile 5% took governmental control and launched a systematic campaign of tyranny against males who were blamed for nearly eradicating the species. Natural delivery had been completely replaced by laboratory birthing by the early 23rd century, and males were only produced as slaves, entertainers, and breeding material. Exterminating renegade gangs of wandering free men and deterring intrusions from neighboring nations and powers were two of the United Sisterhood Republic's main priorities as one of the New World's premier nations. Thundra was born in Greater Mayago's Central Birthing Center, a government-run facility where fetuses are carried to term in artificial wombs. Thundra was sent to the military academy when she was 8 years old, having been genetically altered for strength and endurance. She became an officer in the militia at the age of 18, having distinguished herself as the best warrior in the Midwestern Republic. She committed assaults on both roaming bands of Mavericks and the Central American Empire's forces. In the middle of Thundra's military career, Russia was attacked by forces from a parallel universe known as Macus. Men from this parallel Earth had managed to overcome their female overlords millennia before, and they utilized their interdimensional travel technology to travel to Thundra's Earth to free them in there. Thundra took the soldiers of Macus' spatial machinery in an attempt to retaliate, intending to launch a counterattack on their world. However, the machine malfunctioned, and she was sent to the 20th century. She intended to humble the fiercest man on Earth after acclimating herself, in the hopes of stopping the planet of Macus from ever being born. Thundra is endowed with a variety of genetically enhanced abilities. Thundra possesses superhuman strength. She is capable of lifting around 60 tons. Her power extends to her legs as well, allowing her to leap 45 feet. Thundra's body is more injury resistant than a regular human's. Her high skin porosity gives her a Mohs hardness of 7.5, allowing her to withstand the penetration of tiny caliber bullets. Thundra can go at a top speed of 32 miles per hour. Thundra can exert herself at maximum capacity for around 50 minutes, until fatigue poison collects in her bloodstream, forcing her to lessen her activities or rest. Thundra has had significant training in boxing, wrestling, and the Century's military skills. She has extensive skills with the broadsword. Thundra is a seasoned combat veteran who has participated in several anti-renegade missions. Because firearms had been almost eliminated in her own time, she had little familiarity with them. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.